Alright, what's up? So in this video, I want to talk about how you need to be a lone wolf if you ever want to get anywhere, and what that actually means. Because I don't believe in dropping your entire friend group and completely falling off grid, not talking to anyone, locking yourself completely in a room. To a degree, I agree with that, right? But there's a middle ground that you need to kind of respect. Because if you go too much one way and you completely isolate yourself, you're just not gonna, it's not sustainable, you know? There's a middle ground that you can have, and I want to talk about kind of how I did it. But I do want to emphasize that I cannot see how you can stay in the same environment and friend group and everything and change your situation. It's just kind of unrealistic, right? Because a very, very big factor of changing your life is changing your habits, changing your environment, and very likely it also kind of matters who you're listening to, who you're hanging out with, and everything. So the way I did it, I remember, and you may notice that it's not that you don't like your friends or anything, right? That's not the issue. It's not that you don't have a fun time and everything, but it's just that your paradigms are different, your limiting beliefs are different, so you're not really able to talk about your own goals, because if you do, then very likely other people will put their limiting beliefs upon you, right? And if you are not solid yet, which takes time, then it will influence you, right? So that's why I don't really recommend talking about your goals, because either it will just give you false dopamine and be like, oh my god, you're so ambitious, you're such a hard worker, etc. You don't need to hear that, right? You don't need to hear that, because otherwise you're gonna be like, yeah, I am hardworking, I am ambitious, and then you're just not gonna do anything. So don't do that. But on the other side, it'll be like, nah, man, okay, let's wait until you're rich, and you'll hear a lot of jokes and stuff. And maybe you're strong enough to withhold that, right? But it's very, very hard for it to not influence your mind, right? So avoid talking about your goals altogether. And when you do hang out, just talk shit. Just have fun. Just talk about anything but goals. Talk about anything but the future and stuff like that, right? I mean, you can talk in terms of at their level, right? Or wherever they're at, so that you don't really trigger anything and don't influence your own beliefs. But I would keep the most ambitious stuff to yourself. All right? That's one. The second thing is obviously, if you are going to pursue online marketing or online entrepreneurship, let's say, but it doesn't even have to be that. Whatever you want to do, there's so many different ways to make it happen. But whatever you want to do, you're probably going to want to put a lot of time into it. So you'll notice that your friends will kind of tend to pull you into doing nothing a lot. Because if you think about it, like most people, what do, right? They have school or they have work, and then after work they kind of just either sit on their couch, watch Netflix, or they just hang out and they just gossip, right? That's kind of what most people do. But you don't want to do that, right? You want to spend your time improving yourself, right? Learning, going to the gym, working on actually the right stuff. But that means that you'll have less time for your friends, and you'll have to say no more often, right? And you need to be okay with that. You need to get used to that, saying no. And I found a way, personally for me, that worked kind of well to kind of balance that. Is what I would do, and this is just a suggestion, right? You can take it how you want it, but what I would do is I would say no, and I would say, hey, if I have time, I will come by later. So I would go finish my work, and then I would literally just come by later, right? And sometimes it would be like 11 at night. Sometimes it would even be like 1 a.m. and I'll come by and everyone's like kind of drunk, and I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? You know, because you don't have to like completely ditch your friends and stuff just because you are like want to be an entrepreneur and all that stuff. You don't have to. And to be honest, it is kind of it's also a good, how do I say it, like pause for you, because working all the time is cool, but you need to kind of decompress as well. Otherwise you're gonna burn out, you know. And I don't mean it like burn out in like gay sense. I mean literally you will just burn yourself out in terms of energy, right? So keep that in mind. That is something that helped a lot. And sometimes even if I had like too much work, then literally I would just go straight back to the office after, right? I'm like, all right, guys, like I have to go. Still have work to do. It was nice seeing you guys. See you guys later, right? And then I would just leave. And you know, in the beginning it's weird, right? Friends are like, what? But they get used to it, you know. So it's fine. Another thing that I remember I did, and I kind of still do, with friends that aren't necessarily entrepreneurial, whatever, you need to stop drinking. You need to stop smoking weed or any type of drug. And you need to learn how to socialize and have some fun without any stimulants, okay? Because I know that it is weird for people to hear no, right? Like, hey, bro, like, you want a beer? And like, no, I don't want to. And they're like, huh? You don't want a beer? Are you okay? Are you sick? Like, it's very weird for people. Like, and they'll almost like kind of box you in as like not being fun. You know what I mean? But be strong and just be like, don't be a downer or anything. Like, don't have like low energy and that stuff. Like, you don't have to drink, and you can still like be fun to hang out with, you know. You can still be energetic, you can still be all those things and have a lot of fun without, you know, having any stimulants in you. Because what that's gonna do is that's, if you do like have one drink, or you like smoke or whatever, what is going to happen is you ain't going back to work, man. There is no way that after that you are going back to work. Not happening, right? Talking from my own experience. You are not going to work. Don't do that to yourself. And not only that, you're not just going to work, you're not just going to skip work right after. You are going to skip work the next morning, right? Because you're gonna feel like shit. So now you stayed longer, you had stimulants, you had alcohol, whatever, and now in the morning you didn't work after you said you were gonna leave. You didn't work because you felt like, you know, crap. You wake up and you click snooze because you feel terrible. You're like, oh no, I need to like get more hours in to feel fit to work, because otherwise like this is where the spiral goes, you know. That's what's gonna happen if you do that, right? But if you can just learn to say no, you will go so damn far. And you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to ditch all your friends and stuff. You don't have to, right? Just learn to say no. Learn to be a fun social person without having stimulants in yourself, okay? And not only will you like progress a lot faster, not only will you feel a lot better, but bro, your entire life will be better, right? Anyway, other than that, I would say that is my best advice on this topic. Perhaps there's things I forgot, If you have questions, please drop them below. I'll answer from my experience. But like these, I think it was 3 things that I mentioned. Like they will go an extremely long way, right? Yeah. I don't really have much else to say. I'll leave it at this. If there's any questions, let me know.